Blessed God. How y'all doing? I am Brandy. And I just had an amazing conversation with one of my young lives, and I want you guys to take this into account and really think about this. What would you do for the rest of your life if you could be, pretty much set for life and not have to worry about anything else, and you could just do this one thing and not get paid for it? The one thing that you could do for the rest of your life and not get paid for it, and not have a struggle in the world. Like, you're good, but you're doing this thing and not getting paid for it. I said the one thing that I would do is probably what I've always done, and I hadn't gotten paid for it. That's about to change, though. Father God is about to, what they call, booked and busy, paid and booked and paid. But the one thing that I said is, I want to make people feel good. And what that boils down to is encouragement, inspiration, motivation, exhortation, edification, pouring into others. That's biblical. I don't know what verse it is, but I know it's biblical, and I've read the verse, and I probably got it written down somewhere, but there are a number of verses that talks about that, but there's one in particular, and I'm gonna have to look it up now again. But it talks about that, and edifying others. That's something that is fulfilling. When you're doing something that's fulfilling to your spirit, then it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like work. And that's why when I had spoke about love before, I said that, love is an area that I know that, blessed God, that God has me for. Definitely because the firecracker in me has been being tamed. Yeah, because it's like I could love so hard, but if you hurt my feelings, I would turn into that firecracker. And boy, that firecracker starts sounding like the 4th of July at a fireworks show, like you know what I'm saying? So God has definitely been working on me. And what I've noticed in the last maybe week or so is that there has been so much that had been coming my way to make me want to revert back to that old person. And I thank God that he has gripped my lip and kept me from doing that. But it was still a stirring in my spirit. It was still a rise in me that made me want to go there. And so that to me was telling me, like, Brandy, you need to go back to the place that you were before. When I had instruction on doing a certain thing as far as like prayer life and different things that God had me doing. And so you can begin to recognize when you need to go back to what I call the basics of and get back in that place of consecrating yourself to get strong again, to get stronger in him, because we definitely can't get stronger in ourselves, but getting stronger in him. You know what I'm saying? But I had a conversation with my young life. I know I'm kind of jumping, but I had a conversation with my young life, and it was literally about confidence once again, and confidence in himself, and confidence in his ability. Because a lot of times when you're gifted, a lot of times when you have gifts that God has given you for, obviously for specific purposes, there's going to be, outside forces that want to make you question those gifts. And I had to tell them, because they look at me, they look at me a lot of times, and I say they, I mean my children, but I mean other people too. They look at me as though I have had it all together. And I said I must have a serious poker face, with some people sometime, or God has really made it look, a certain way. But I want to be very transparent and say that I have not, and I do not. Confidence is something that I love to pour into other people and help them build that up, because I know what it feels like to not be confident in yourself. I know what it feels like to question, myself. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to, have your self-esteem be knocked around because of certain things that you do that are different, certain ways that you look that are different. And when other people are praised, quote unquote, or who are, given opportunities or whatever the case may be for things that are very much the opposite of you, it makes you think like, well, what's that about? What's that about? And you, blessed God, sometimes we begin to doubt the very things that are the most significant about ourselves, the things that are the most significant. I can't remember exactly how God gave me this, but it was something very, very much aligned with, I'm going to use the simplicity of you. And it was a download, and I believe that might have been it, but it was about, I'm going to use the simplicity of you for great impact. That means he wants to use the simple things so that he can get glory for it. Because it may be something that seems so simple to somebody else. It may be something that sounds so insignificant to somebody else. It may be something that looks to be so insignificant to somebody else or a group of other persons, but it's that very thing that he wants to use because it looks foolish. And we know about the verse that talks about God using the foolish things to confound the wise. Because too many people think that they are wise when they're really ignorant. How many of us have been that ignorant and thought that we were wise? Blessed God. I can be honest enough to say that I have. But he loves using the foolish things to confound the wise. So I'm going to say this right here. Don't doubt yourself because of somebody else's inability to see what is significant about you. Don't doubt yourself because of somebody's inability to see what is significant about you. Because if God is honing in on that and he has whatever it is that's placed on your heart so tough, it's because he's getting ready to use that very thing to be a significant force in your life for his glory so other people can see it. All right. So I pray that something that I've said has registered in your spirit or registers in your spirit, and you take your peculiarity, you take your uniqueness, you take that strange thing about you, and you allow God to use it full force. All right. And I'll catch you in the next one. Y'all be blessed.